Welcome back to BBB Adventures and the Builder Series at Frank's Place. This episode will be a continuation of the project we started to refresh Luna, our 1962 Corvair Greenbrier camper van. We covered the scope and goals of this project in part 1 of this Lunar Refresh series, so if you're interested in what we're attempting to accomplish, you can go back and watch that episode. This episode picks us up at the end of our last episode, where we ran into problems torquing one of the 4 bolts that holds the rear suspension crossmember to the body of the van.
You got something bad going on?
Why?
The torque stopped going up because I was tightening this. Still spinning, but the torque's actually going down. I feel like something's about to give.
Oh no.
And that's one where that nut thing's buried in this. It's a floating nut thing that's buried inside this thing.
Can you reach it through that hole?
No, there's no. It's inside this. It's unreachable.
How far did you get?
We got to 47 foot-pounds.
And it's supposed to go to
50, 55 to 70. Think about just leaving it.
Yeah.
This one got to 50. Maybe I'll just leave it. If that comes loose though.
Can you take it out and do like a Loctite on that?
Well, it's got a lock washer on it, but if it, I don't know. I mean, if you take it out, you're going to stress the whole.
Run the risk of not.
Well, you're just stressing the threads again. The threads are getting weak every time you tighten them. It just stresses the threads again. I don't know. Maybe it's this rubber and it's just setting, and I don't know. But I hate to keep.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. It's compressing a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's not doing that on these other ones. You can see this one's compressed a little more.
I do. Yep. So.
I think this one's at 50. Yeah. That one's at 50. Yeah. Now it's at 38. Jesus, it keeps going down.
Stop doing it. Did you just wrench on the back one again?
Yeah, I just want to see what the torque was. It seems like it's going down. I don't know. That's the problem with this old car, isn't it? Hey, is this Greenbrier technical support?
Maybe. What's up?
Well, I put the rear crossmember back on, and the thread repair did great. I torqued it down to 55 foot-pounds as per the manual, and it was fine. But there's 2 other attachment points, right? That are right. So the outside ones is the one that broke. But now I'm having trouble with one of the inside ones. The torque seems to be going down, like something's going bad in there. I got it torqued to like 43, 44 pounds. And then because I was doing each one a little bit at a time, and then I went back to it, its torque was lower. All right, I'll spin it out and inspect it. That's a good idea.
Yeah, and if it doesn't want to torque up, and that's not, what kind of torque are you using, a digital or
a brand new digital.
Okay, fine. Well,
And it's not even a cheap Harbor Freight. It's actually a Husky. It's a pretty nice torque wrench.
good. Well, I'm trying to tighten it up, see what happens. That was just going to spin, and because you've got the kit already there in hand, just drilling out the hole as opposed to a broken hole, not going to be that hard.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Okay,
It's going to set you back an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, crack up another beer.
No, Larry, let's get this straight. It would set you back an hour. It's going to set me back a day, but that's okay.
Four bolts, I think, would be out. Take a half hour around to get the insert in. and 15 minutes to bolt it back up. And it's kind of easy.
Do we have
All
to
right.
take the whole thing out to do
Yeah.
that?
Okay. All right, Larry. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime, bud.
Okay. All right. See you. Bye.
Only if it looks bad.
Yeah. He said look at the threads.
Yeah. Well, take 2 on this bolt. He removed it, added some NSEs, per the advice of Master Mechanic Larry Claypool.
No, it's not tightening up.
It's not tightening up.
It doesn't feel like it, but I'm just gonna keep going. If it's gonna strip, I want it to strip right now.
Larry said if it strips, we're just gonna have to take the cross member down and repair the nut.
There's something wrong. It's not tightening up. It's not tightening
Interesting.
up. It's screwed. It's stripped. It's
Okay,
or worse, that little plate is spinning in there.
that would be worse. But we would hear that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you think you'd hear that. No, I mean it's not. We gotta take this whole fucking thing down. Uh-oh.
No, it's not coming out. Oh yeah, it is. It is.
Oh, can you believe this?
No. Interesting.
Well,
Out it comes.
These setbacks cost a lot of time. Well, we had to take the cross member back down. This is the hole where it wouldn't tighten up, and the threads are just terrible. Absolutely terrible. So I gotta try to get an insert in there. Well, we had to take this cross member out, and these threads were totally trashed. So I'm putting one of these inserts in. This is the nerve-wracking part, getting these threads straight. It's been my experience that if you cut threads a little bit at a time, it doesn't cause much stress on everything.
And what's happening when you back that up?
Nothing.
Oh.
It just, you're cutting threads, and then when you back it up, it allows the little chunks of steel that are being cut just sort of get out of there. Plus, it gives you a chance to lube this thing. Lubing is the key to successfully doing this. Oh, so nervous.
How far do you know to go?
Until I don't, it gets easy once you got all the threads cut. So this thing's tapered, so you're cutting threads a little bit at a time. So you got to get down onto this part for full depth of threads. Now the risk in taking this out is getting the threads lined up again. So you're still cutting the same thread to not trying to cut new threads.
I can understand how that would be nerve-wracking.
And if you ever break a tap, it's the hardest steel there is. You're just done. You know, there's no recovery from a broken tap. But this is a pretty big tap. Usually you break little ones. And
want this to be over. I want this part to be over. It's good. The threads are cut. See that?
Mm-hmm. You were almost all the way through the last time you had it up there.
Yeah.
'Cause that didn't take much this time.
No, that's good. I put the insert onto the insert driver, and now I'm going to thread the insert into our super awesome new hole.
Should that be torqued? No.
No, this is inserting the...
Oh, how do you get that out of there?
Unthread it.
The driver tool?
He said it said it would get hard. You do this till it loosens up.
Really? I am so perplexed by this process.
This needs to go up a quarter of an inch. Okay. It got easy to do.
I don't understand why it just doesn't pull it back out again.
Well, if it does, I'm going to be really upset. Because it somehow forms, this special tool somehow forms the threads, the outside of the threads we just cut, and then these outside threads, it jams them up in there somehow. It's part of what this thing does. It's magic. A little bit of magic. But there we go. If you look now, you got really nice looking threads in there. I'm tempted to do the same thing to that one, honestly. See, it just immediately gets hard. I think these threads are fucked. They don't really look good to me. Oh, they don't look like that. You can sort of see that the threads don't look healthy.
Okay, here we go again.
Try number 2.
We are not going to roll the camera during this because it's boring, but we will.
Imagine us doing it the
Again.
second time, just like we did the first time, although more efficient because we're not going to make the same mistakes, and it's all going to tighten up, and it'll be beer 30.
Yes,
Let's
go.
do this.
The second time went much, much quicker than the first.
It's almost like we learned.
It's almost like we learned how to do it. So he just has them, loose, so I don't have to hold it anymore. He's gonna get all the bolts in place, and then he will torque them down. Time to start torquing. We got to this step a lot faster this time than we did the first.
It's amazing how.
How experience teaches you.
Yeah. Imagine if you did this. The thing is, when you work on cars like this, you do this once. I mean, if you get another car, maybe you do it again, but this assembly, theoretically, will never come out this van again. Well, I own it. That was torqued to 10.
He's got to get to 55?
60.
60.
Let's go to 40. Please God, don't strip. Why?
He's very
32.
nervous.
I mean, it's just so much force. $36. God, I can't believe I have to go so high.
What's your goal?
Well, theoretically 60. I gotta set 39. It feels so bad. It doesn't feel good.
It's still compressing. I can see it still compressing.
It's not.
No, I see it. When you're torquing on it, I can see moisture coming out from under there.
I don't think it's tightening up.
Oh, sweetie. Let's call the salvage yard. What's compression at, or torque at?
38. It is going up.
It is going up.
God, it's just so nerve-wracking.
Can you see the stress on his face?
The wrench is set to 40. I gotta get to 40. That one's 40. 40. Well, I put anti-seize on the threads, and it acts as a lubricant. And typically, you reduce. I thought it was 20%. You reduce the torque spec because the lubricant will act like a force multiplier, and it actually reduces the number. It reduces the actual torque you have to get the same clamping force. I reduced it. Then I Googled it, and it said 25 to 30%. So 20% reduction would have made the torque, the average torque 50, and that's where we're at. I think we're going to call it a day. These are all. The only thing that bothers me is this rubber this doohickey is compressed a lot more than this doohickey, but I can attribute that to maybe difference in rubber. And if I look at this gap, it looks pretty parallel. Yeah. This gap looks pretty even, so it seems like, and these are compressed about the same. I'm just gonna call it a day. I think it's got enough torque. I mean, I was really torquing, and this is a pretty big moment arm, and I got huge muscles, so pretty sure that's enough.
Cross members installed.
I have this assembly manual for this van. This is basically the factory work instructions for when this thing was put together. So it has all of the sequence of what goes when. So these are all sequenced assembly processes, and it has torque values for the various things. So this is a super handy manual. And we're using it a lot to reassemble this thing, because I don't always remember where stuff goes. Somebody won't leave me alone. He wants to be the helpful dog. He wants to be the helpful shop doggy. He doesn't know anything about brakes, though, and that's what we're going to do right now. Disco, what do you know about brakes?
They need to be clean.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oil-free.
Yeah. Okay. Can you let me do my work? All right. Well, today, like I said, we're doing brakes. This is one of the rear brake assemblies, the backer plate and all the different parts. These are the new parts. These are actually not that bad when you really look at it, but I'm sort of the opinion while I'm in here, might as well redo it, because we don't put very many miles on this thing, and this will last a very long time, and I'm not going to put used stuff back in. I will probably keep these shoes though, and the springs and everything, because they
have a lot of life left in them.
Yeah, this is reminding me a little bit of my work on birdie brakes, where I'm doing unnecessary work, but I bought all the parts, so I'm gonna do it anyway. So anyway, I'm gonna take apart this, and I'm gonna replace it with this.
Another day, another day at the shop.
We gotta get this stupid van done.
It's not a
Okay.
stupid van, be nice.
I know, just kidding. So this is the A-arm. It's all freshly powder
Powder-coated.
Powder-coated. It's powder-coated.
Powder coated.
Powder-coated. Let me get a nut and a ready. Okay.
I can hold these down. And then those go in.
Oh
there,
my
look.
God! Look at that.
Look at that.
Let me just get one nut started over here. 16th. No, it's the next one bigger. Well, that was a half. It's 9/16. Yeah, it fits. Okay, I gotta go get the other one. Wish I had a torch back. Well, as you know, we got the lower A-arms in. It is time to put the new spring and the new shock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the spring in here, I'm going to run the shock up there, and then I'm going to attempt to use this jack to compress the spring. In a Corvair, the thing that limits the spring travel actually is the shock. So you have to compress the spring enough to actually get the shock put together. And then when we relieve the jack, the spring will extend the shock to its fullest position, and then this shock will prevent the spring from completely boing. Anyway, theoretically, it's easy peasy, like everything else we've been doing. So let's just start it. So we put the spring in there, and the shock goes in the middle. And I think I'm gonna try to put one of these bottom screws in. Or maybe get them both started. These are the screws my Beth just went to the store to get me. Let me get these a little bit tight, or at least, you know, started good. Oops, wrong way. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, everybody. I gotta compress the spring enough.
That needs to be up in that hole. Well, it's not up there.
Yeah, sure it isn't. Before I tighten these up, I didn't get the shock in exactly where it needs to be placed.
Now lift it up.
Yeah. Keep going. One more. One more. Okay, hold. Let's see. If we run the shock up there. We're going to put a little more. Oh, it's just not enough yet. I need to grab another inch maybe?
It's not gonna fall out of there, is it?
See, the problem is the jack is
Oh yeah, it's lifting up the van.
okay.
Is that what you're gonna say the problem was?
No, the problem is I think this jack has a leak,
Oh.
so it doesn't stay. Okay. We'll get these started, and then to really tighten them, we're gonna have to have the van on the ground. I think. Or maybe not. Okay, that's good and started. Now let me get my bottom dealy bobs in. And by dealy bob, I mean bolts
With their lock washers?
with their lock washer dealy bobs. The dealy bobs of the locking dealy bobs. Come on, get started now. Thank you. Sometimes you just gotta talk to this stuff. Come on now, get started now. Power of suggestion. We're doing good, everybody.
I do have to get my wrench in there. I do need to get my wrench in there.
Nope.
There. Yeah, this is the worst part of shocks.
Let me try.
Okay, I can't get in there. There. You okay?
Yep. Still in there?
Nope.
We have the nut at the top of the shock post tightened to what I believe is close to the spec. And I got the bottom of the shock tightened. And so now it's time to relieve the pressure of the spring. Here we go.
It seems dangerous to me.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like I'm in the triangle of death.
That really did jack the van up quite a bit, didn't it?
Yeah, it's down now. Not all the way though. It's still not sitting in that. Oh, I guess it is.
Now we get to the other side, just like that.
Yep. There it is.
How's it look?
Looks beautiful.
All shiny and new. Side number 2. Driver's side, all done. Shock, new spring, new bushings. This is a typical, this looks like a government operation. You got 1 worker and 2 supervisors. Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for part 6 of the Lunar Refresh series, but please stay tuned for this Saturday's BBB Adventures episode when we revive the Red Dragon out of its dungeon at Frank's Place in preparation for Ragbri, and also review some of our lessons from the Apollo mission. Oh yeah, we'll also update you on something that will impact our Ragbri plans. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the ride. Wear a helmet.